Hello, happy Thursday as I'm popping on here on November 22nd, 11/22, an energetically powerful day with the numbers. And this is actually a really off-the-cuff pop-in that would be a chariot chat. And I guess we could still call that a chariot chat because as I'm recording this, the card that kicked us off this week was, in fact, the Chariot. Normally, though, my Chariot chats take place in my driveway, from behind the steering wheel, in my car, when I'm going from here to there, just casual pop-ins. And this is casual, but it's sort of a mix of a whole bunch of different massive spiritual breadcrumbs that are coming in today. And I don't know where they're all going, but I'm just following them. And thank you for being here to follow as well. And I already know I'm going to take this video and put it on YouTube. So that's why I'm specifying that if you're seeing this live, if you're seeing this on November 22nd, 2024, that's what's happening here in the Empowerment Sharecast that I'm referring to. But these messages, I believe, will be wider for the collective and, of course, as always, timeless. So as I come in, I just kicked over the crown healing energy spray, which is perfect because I'm here to talk about flipping that crown upside down, with today's card being the Hanged Man. Today's card that we pulled for our collective energies Thursday, representing how are we growing as a collective. Now, something special about this week's cards: all major, right? Major, 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 major for the 5 days of the week. And then we had a sixth bonus card, also major. So this is a beautiful magical creatures tarot that we have been exploring throughout the month of November. And it has definitely shown us to be incredibly deep and enchanting and beautiful, along with its sister deck, the Northern Animal Tarot. So I brought in the Crown Energy healing spray just as I pressed record, just to kind of open up and see what wants to come in as we're flipping that upside down with the Hanged Man perspective, okay? So all these breadcrumbs, let me bring it in. Right out the gate, we have a tarot imitates life scenario, and I'm gonna show you a picture with a little warning that it is a picture of extracted baby teeth. Okay, so if you're squeamish, I made it into a little collage so you could see what I'm seeing, which is these roots on the Hanged Man card and the roots that were on my little Elena Joy's teeth that we had a surprise extraction this morning after I had shared. So I shared today's card, How Are We Growing? And I did my little mixer to put in my story. And I had this phrase that came into my mind, which was exposed roots bring reflective perspectives, right? So reflective perspectives come from exposed roots. And I was referring to, inspired by the exposed roots, which I talked about on Sunday when we tapped into the intuitive messages with this card, as we see them here. So just to give a little background to that, I knew that we had this sort of emergency dental appointment for her today, long overdue. She's 8. So, in the course of complaining here or there, not really being able to see what all's going on in there, but knowing that we were overdue. Now, she comes from a long line of people who really dislike the dentist, okay? Most directly, me. And I've had quite a history with my dental work, a lot of trauma, and absolutely inherited dental issues and complications, things that make it difficult, and also damage from antibiotics before I even had teeth when I was a baby, that they later found did damage to the teeth, and a whole host of things, okay? And so what's super interesting is I feel this energy this morning around, how are we growing? What is the Hanged Man bringing forward for us through this beautiful card with the exposed roots? And I was getting this reflective perspectives, how, when we flip something upside down, turn that crown upside down, like as I just knocked it over as soon as we came in here, that we begin to see things from new vantage points, new perspectives. And I was even thinking this morning about this guy hanging by a shoelace on his boots, and like all the contents of the pockets falling out, you know, like flipping something over and all the stuff falling out. So I feel that before I go on, I need to show you this picture if you like to look at it. If not, you skip right on along. Like I said, it's not that bad. I'm making it sound, but you know, I know some people can be squeamish. So we come to find out today that actually she has 4 baby teeth that are affected in a way that at this point it makes sense to extract them as opposed to trying to treat them, because soon enough her permanent teeth will be coming in. So, and being that unfortunately the list of work that she needs is happening on all 4 quadrants, you know, it has to be broken up over 4 visits. And how about we do this work today, this first quadrant? And so that's what we did. And that involved extracting 2 teeth and filling a cavity on a permanent tooth in the back. So that is to say that when they pulled her teeth, I heard an audible from both the doctor and the dental assistant, like, oh, you know, the roots on this one tooth. I mean, it looks like it could get up and walk away. It's like really significant. It stood up on its own on the counter for this picture that I took. Of course, these, you'll see in the photo if you choose to look, that there is a treasure chest, you know, behind it that the teeth go in so that they can be placed under her pillow tonight. And, you know, it's like they could just walk right back in. I mean, it's significant. Tarot imitates life, right? When we tap into these messages, we bring in our collective energy. We bring up 6 major arcana cards, meaning listen up, pay attention. This is significant, right? These are the big secrets. These are the significant stops along the way on the Fool's Journey. It's a big week for all the reasons that we covered in the previous messages, in the video that I share on my YouTube for this week's collective messages. We went through each day, right? We're on Thursday now, and we're talking about how are we growing. We get the hanged one with these exposed roots hanging down. I get reflective perspectives, bring, you know, these exposed roots, bringing in the reflective perspectives, and then fast forward 2 hours and we're in the dental office and these roots are coming out, right? So before he started the work, he said, all right, kiddo, you know, you didn't do anything wrong. You know, we just got some teeth that are giving us a tough time. And he says, oh, you got your mommy's teeth. And then he said, but it's not her fault. You know, he said, it's not her fault either. How interesting when we think about our roots, when we think about what we've inherited, when we think about what we've passed on, you know. And this is something that has been coming forward for me through Scorpio season, in all of the intense shadow work and things coming up from the base, those roots becoming exposed, you know, things coming to the surface. When we look over, you know, patterns of wounding and ancestral trauma and a lot of these challenges, and yes, in many cases things that are inherited, that they come along through our DNA, through our ancestral lineage, that we have a lot of stories around, a lot of stories about the origins of these things, about whose fault it is, who did this, you know, the most direct descendant, you know, pointing at each other to say, okay, you know, thanks mom for giving me your teeth, you know, but that goes on a few generations above me that I'm aware of. So, you know, I'm bringing this in to say that there is a lot of symbolism to unpack here. So let's get a look at these teeth so you know what I'm talking about, and then I'll come back on the other side, because I am going to pull some cards and I'm going to bring in some even further breadcrumbs that are tying together all of these major cards this week. So let's take a look. So here you see a photo of today's card, the Hanged One, and the words that came to me this morning when I was sharing our quick Audible Mystics blurb about today's card that you can see here on the Sharecast a couple polos over. Exposed roots bring reflective perspectives. And now you see the photos here that I spoke of, and like I said, I've edited them for a palatability. Those are some serious roots on an 8-year-old's baby teeth. Okay. Now this is my Aquarius child who is absolutely just a next level soul in terms of what she brings forward in her past life memories and so many other amazing insights and bits of wisdom that this kid has shared with me since she could speak. So wow, here come these exposed roots in real life. And so again, when you are tapping into the tarot, the signs, the symbols, when you are feeling into the energy in the moment, and especially when we're talking collective energy, it's so vast what these cards could mean in a week. And from the most practical of, okay, we kicked off the week with the Chariot, which is typically about automobiles, vehicles, cars, traveling, spending time in our car, getting new cars, car stuff, all those kind of things from the most practical point of view, all the way to the fact that the Chariot is the sign of Cancer, representing the family, the mother, our homes, our identities. And so now fast forward to Thursday, how are we growing, flipping things upside down and looking at things from this perspective of these exposed roots, the things that have come to the surface through these seasons that we've been moving through and where we find ourselves now in terms of where to from here. So, but it also was trying to let me know at the top of this week that those exposed roots were going to show up in a very real way. So there you have it. So let's go ahead and take a look here further into some of these spiritual breadcrumbs. Okay, so along with our Hanged One bringing through some of these messages, also yesterday's card being the Devil energy, right? So we had the Devil coming in here for our midweek blessing, and the Devil is still speaking. There were a lot of messages coming through for me yesterday, very specifically referring to, as I pointed out on Sunday, the chains, the links that you see coming from the feet of these two goblins who are in prisons of their own making, as the Devil indicates, having to do with patterns, addictions, comfort zone, ways of being, old beliefs, old stories, that there is this sort of chain link connecting, right? So this led me down a little trail of breadcrumbs that brought me to a throwback, okay? So now we're just gonna weave all this together, see where it goes. So we have our exposed roots coming in here with these reflective perspectives. I'm looking back and I'm looking at those chains, and I was reminded that just about coming up on a month out from now, last year, so 2023, over on the December 2023 Empowerment Sharecast, I know many of you were with me. Thank you so much. Isn't it amazing that it's been a year? Wait till you see this throwback. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that. And I did that exercise, because some of you did. But for those who are with us for the first time this year, right before the new year, I ended up receiving a new deck that I'm actually going to pull from here today. It's called the Christmas Tarot. And it arrived after Christmas, but before the new year. And there's something very unique about this deck. It is only the major arcana. So the only cards that are in here are major, much like our spread for this week. At the time, I strung together, again with this same child, with my daughter Elena Joy, we were watching a Disney's Christmas Carol, the version with Jim Carrey. And I had a very significant connection that came through one of the quotes in the movie around the chains that one created themselves, link by link, yard by yard, throughout their life. Okay, this was Jacob Marley. I'm going to share this again with a photo so you can see. So the throwback that I'm going to share are the polos that I did at that time, bringing through the messages, how I was inspired to create my own paper chain that was about me very mindfully thinking about what I wanted to leave behind in 2023. And that I was no longer going to be carrying with me. And I don't want to recreate the wheel because I'm going to share it here. So you will hear me explain all of that in those videos. But as I'm relating it here, one thing that was really cool, some of you who then did this exercise for yourself, and this is of course something to be done at any time of the year. And I think it's really beautiful actually that it's coming up now, because we are at this point of culmination of 2024, where we were just at the brink of stepping into it at the time that I recorded those messages. And it was all about this year number 8 that we were about to step into, the manifestation, the abundance, the infinite energy of like, what are we carrying in and what do we want to amplify in our lives in this new year? And now is a good point for me to check in. And yeah, I still have that paper chain shoved in this drawer right here, kind of stuck in there, buried down. And I haven't looked at it yet to refresh my memory what all of the things were that I wrote on there. Some of them I remember, you know, some of the obvious things about, you know, eating better and moving more and, you know, things like that that I wanted to bring in for myself, or that I, you know, wanted to shift something from that, you know, more shadow perspective of not doing the thing, right? And so now I can already start to think in my mind, like, okay, well, how far did I get this year? What changed? You know, what did I make some incremental improvements on? What are some things that I'm carrying over with me that in fact did come along, that are poised to continue on to 2025? And what do I think about that, right? The devil is in the details of how long do I want to continue to carry this? Do I want to be tethered to this thing? So some of you who did the exercise at the time even creatively came up with the idea of not just making a chain of the things that you were leaving behind, but a chain of the things that you wanted to bring in, right? So that's kind of what I'm talking about here, is that a beautiful opportunity now, an exercise that we could do again or to consider doing, is kind of taking that inventory on how we're doing in this year 8, as we are really, really starting to root in to the 9 frequency for 2025. Again, the digits in 2025 add up to the number 9, making it a 9 year, which is really going to be bringing in a lot of focus on culminations, things that are culminating, and as well as bringing in the hermit energy from the tarot. I've been talking about this. We're going to talk a lot more about it in the coming weeks and into the new year, that it is about this introspection, going within our own inner light, our own inner wisdom, and connecting in with that. And so, you know, we can kind of in this juncture here between the 8 energy of the strength card and this power of, you know, balancing that beast within, which is absolutely giving me, again, this energy. And this is Capricorn energy, which of course, this very, very transformative, powerful, auspicious day of Tuesday, the 19th, that we've just experienced Pluto finishing its time with Capricorn after 16 years and now in the sign of Aquarius for the next 20 years. So, hey, no wonder we got the tower, right? No wonder we're rerouting. We are pulling everything up, extracting all of the things that are no longer sustainable, that are not coming with us, that are not a part of the new structures that we are building in our lives and in New Earth. So, you know, breadcrumb brings me to this moment. So I'm going to share with you in a minute. I'm going to pull our card first, but I'll show you the this devil along with that quote from Jacob Marley, and then we'll roll into the throwback, which up to you. If you're here on the Sharecast watching it in real time, you may either just watch through all of the polos I'll be posting, or I do have this video on YouTube, so it's all strung together neatly if you just want to view it there. In the course of the messages here, I'll provide that link. If you're seeing this on YouTube, the link will be in the description below. So I'm just sort of multitasking all the places, but always appreciate so much for you being here, wherever you are, however you are. Thank you so much. And I hope you find some value in this. Like I said, I'm just sort of spitballing, but it's like, this is the way that the signs, the symbols, you know, when you tap in, when you pay attention to, the universe speaks, nature speaks. These are the profound messages that we can glean from these things when you kind of look through this lens, you know, when you have this sort of reflective perspective where you go, that's interesting. What might this be coming up for? What might this be showing me? You know, what do I see now in my real life in this moment, looking at my child, you know, laying there getting this work done, and the dentist saying like, well, you can thank mommy for this, but it's not her fault, you know? And it's like, wow, you know, like really puts it into perspective for maybe some of the things that we've been carrying with us, those links in the chain that we didn't put there, right? That wasn't a part of any conscious choice on our part. And yet there is choice. And this is what the devil is reminding us of, is it is about choice and duality that comes in then with its counterpart, which was our bonus card, the Lovers, which also brings in this choice, absolutely. And this even more beautifully brings forward the new dawn on the horizon. What comes on the other side of being in these prisons of our own making, of being entrenched in these old roots that are no longer sustainable, is the opportunity for us to bring heaven to earth, to create new through this beautiful energy of duality, choice, balance, healing, harmony, and so much more. So I'm going to spray the crown energy again, just setting the intention for opening up to see what wants to come through, crown upside down or whichever way. It'll be fun to see which major arcana card. And again, we're doing a little early holiday flair. This is just one of the several decks you will be seeing on my December altar. For sure, you know, the feels are starting to come in, you know, kind of pivoting towards winter solstice, Yule, the holiday season, and all that brings with it. Along with it, of course, comes some really awesome seasonal decks that I love and I'm very excited to share with you. So I will be doing that in the coming week or so, preparing for December. And this is one of those decks that we'll be diving into. So a little preview as well. Okay. So let's shuffle up our pile of major arcana cards to see what's coming forward here and now for us collectively. And again, messages are timeless whenever we're seeing this, as well as the messages I'm going to share that are a throwback to December of 2023. This is all relative to now. And, you know, again, you're always invited to take what resonates and leave the rest. These are collective messages, and of course the best way for you to get more specific guidance is to have your own reading. So I will be sharing too opportunities for us to connect more comprehensively around December, finishing strong from this year, which is amazing, to work together through this very important transitional time between 2024 and 2025. I'll be putting out the December empowerment sessions, the empowerment pack, and all of the different offerings, but also just getting ready to share my early bird specials, Black Friday specials, we could call them, but they are available now through December 1st. So I'm going to be sharing some exclusive holiday offerings as well for ways that we can work together more comprehensively, and also some gift ideas, as empowerment is an amazing, unique, fun gift to give as well, because I do have gift certificates for special someone on your list. Okay, let's see what's coming forward for us today from the Christmas Tarot, that's giving us a message around these significant major aspects that we're really tapping into here as a collective. Let me just make sure I didn't drop any. Everything's here. Okay. It's hard to hold a small pile. One card, please. One card coming through with a message for us here. Let's take this one. We haven't seen this one. All right, let's take a look. Justice, decisions. Oh, wow, 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 wow. So this is certainly speaking to me with the mother and young child there. as I'm reflecting on these connections of mother, daughter, ancestry in terms of, you know, how these things are all connected and all coming up to the surface for us to process. So this is a beautiful card of justice, number 11 here in the 11th month. And we've been tapping in all month around the power of this month and the energies of the 1111 portal. And again, this day, as I'm recording this, is 1122, another multiples of 11, bringing in some significant energy. And of course, now we have here the justice card. So let's take a look. I know you can't see all of these, but I'm just going to park this here for now, and I'll photograph that so you can have a nice look at that. But let me share with you the message here from the Christmas Tarot for the Justice card. So something that's really neat about this deck is it gives us past, present, future energies with each card. So, and I think it's perfect because we're going to transition to the Christmas Carol, which of course features the ghosts of Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future. So in a reading, we receive the Justice card, and when looking to the past, it indicates it has not always been easy for you to be just in your thinking as it applies to the situation. And there's been some fear about the facts that could have been uncovered. Still, good or bad, research was required before a verdict could be considered. You've gotten all the facts you could. Stand tall in your knowledge. I'm going to read all of them and then we'll tap in intuitively. Present. It's time to evaluate everything you've learned. Take a step back and look at the whole picture to see what jumps forth. Then you will have to gather everything you know before you make any decisions. Future. All your good research will be put into place and a decision, popular or unpopular, will be offered to you. Or possibly it will be you making the decision. Either way, feel pride in knowing that no mistakes were made and you are serving justice. And the Christmas angel message is, whether you like or dislike, if it is just, it must be objectively considered. Wow. Okay. So I feel like there were so many nods to the major arcana cards that we have here this week throughout each one of those, past, present, and future. I noticed there was a lot about research. There was a lot, and this is what we're talking about. Scorpio season, we can all consider ourselves field researchers, okay? Because we have been digging in the dirt, digging in the muck, layer by layer. We are excavating, right? All of this. We have been doing some research, depth into, and however this has been showing up for you, whether you do feel connections into, you know, inner child, you know, things from your youth or from, you know, yesteryear in terms of the past, and how that connects in potentially with family lines, ancestral lines, you know, parentage, you know, and really looking at the present and the way things are showing up, what is challenging us, you know, what we're still trying to make heads or tails of as the Hanged One comes in, to really have this understanding or a greater perspective on what is this all about? Where does this come from? You know, why is this thing here and now in the present triggering me? This relationship dynamic, this person, this situation, what is it actually about? What is it reminding me of? And so this research that's been going on throughout Scorpio season, but also some of the other words about, you know, a verdict being considered. So this is about a choice. This is about contemplation. And yes, the Hanged One is that pause before a decision is made, before forward movement. But we have the Chariot, we have the Devil, we had the Hanged One, we had the Death card, we have the Lovers. We have one more, right? Who else do we have here? The Chariot, the Tower. Sorry, didn't mean to forget you, Tower, and Pluto and Aquarius, for sure. And every time I say researcher, because I call myself an Aquarian researcher, because it is my Aquarian nature that has to know. Like, I want to know all the things, know all of the perspectives, see all of the angles, you know, understand all of it. So the word research coming up in here repeatedly was not lost on me. But it's time to evaluate everything you've learned. So here and now, in the hang up, in the pause, in this moment before, right? This time to go within, this time to call in that introspection is what we're having come up here through justice. And, it is beautiful in the way that it is depicted with this card, because we see what I'm perceiving as a mother and child, and there's a mirror right to their side, and you can, kind of see their reflection. And of course, because it does have the Christmas energy to it, I believe what they're looking at here are some milk and cookies on the table there, and just kind of keeping an eye out, I suppose, and looking out to see. But again, there's so much to unpack there in terms of what this could be speaking to you about what your Scorpio season research has brought you. And isn't it funny? So as I'm recording this, we're stepping into Sagittarius season. So once again, today, the beginning of Sagittarius season, happy birthday, Sagittarians. This energy is present because, again, the scales, the balance, the assessing, looking over all of the research, all of the evidence as it's been presented to make a verdict. But the jury is out at this point. What this is saying is this contemplation needs to occur before a verdict, a choice, can be ruled. So I think that's perfect. Justice is midway on the tarot too, by the way. So there's 22 cards in the major arcana, including card 0, the Fool. And more to come on that when you see this throwback. So the 21 cards of the major arcana plus the 0 of the Fool are 22 cards. So number 11, stop it. I mean, come on, it's 11:22. It's 12:22 on my phone right this second as I'm talking. Stop. What card is the Hanged Man? 12. It's exactly 12:22. I'm talking on 11:22 with card 11, Justice, referring to card 12, the Hanged One. It's just, it doesn't stop. I could be here all day, just kind of, waxing all of this together. So, and then with the future message here, all your good research will be put into place, and a decision, choice, lovers, popular or unpopular, will be offered to you. Here's the thing. The universe, spirit, is not subjective. Okay, so where we are headed and the energies that we are navigating, they're not personal, and they're not about being popular or unpopular, right? They are neutral. They are for the highest good of all, for balance in the universe. So when we talk about those karmic scales being balanced, I mean, this card is actually so perfect for all the things. Justice. The scales of justice, karmic balancing. It's not personal, and it's not about being popular. So this is this neutral energy, and this is the vantage point that we are encouraged to embody, is to be in this place of neutrality as the observer, to be able to feel those feels, allow those emotions to move, right? Energy in motion to flow. They flow through us. We are the channel, right? The emotions that blow in and out like the weather, they impact us. They're just visitors passing through. But we are the channel, and this structure, this vehicle, this physical body that we have transporting our spirit around this lifetime, the chariot, is where our focus is drawn now, to go within to this chariot, to this physical body, this vessel as a channel. And again, and I know this sounds great, and that doesn't make it easy, but this is something that we're beginning to be encouraged to step into, is embodying this energy of bringing heaven to earth. So it's very interesting that the throwback clip I'm going to share of Jacob Marley come back from the dead, speaking to Ebenezer Scrooge, dragging all of the chains that he created throughout his life. Like, you don't want this to be you, right? And I'm not talking about, damnation or anything like that. We're talking just the analogy of all of the choices, the sum total of all of our choices, our free will choices through cause, effect, all of those links of the chain that we have created and co-created as a humanity, come here to the court of the universe to be assessed. So those scales may be balanced. And how will they be balanced? Through infinite choices and decisions that we will all be making as a humanity, one choice at a time. It starts with you. It starts with the choices that you're making in your life, in your day, in small ways. This doesn't have to be anything major and grandiose, but it ripples out and it creates that time over time as we make these movements, choices, and decisions. Another series of buzzwords that have been coming forward. So that all comes full circle here for us to, I feel like I want to pull one more card. The Strength card is speaking to me because I wanted to say, taming that beast within and being able to bring that ego aspect to heal. The parts of us that feel fear, that worry about safety and security and, survival. These are all from this prior time that we have just closed out, that Pluto in Capricorn, where it is all about survival and all about these structures and systems that were put into place to maintain that. Now the age of Aquarius and Pluto in Aquarius opens up this new, yet to be explored field of potential that lies ahead, that will be co-created through our choices and how we proceed from here. So as clear as we can get on what are our priorities, what do we want to create in our own lives, this is where the Hermit will be coming in this coming year for us to really reflect, for us to really have an opportunity to make some sovereign decisions about where we wish to be and what we wish to create, and to rule that verdict within our own lives. And I love the paper chain because it's a beautiful exercise and way for us to, have some fun, but also think outside the box in terms of, if I've got to carry this chain around, what do I want those links to be made of? And it doesn't matter what I've inherited. It doesn't about the roots, about these roots now being exposed. The exposure of the roots is a gift. Okay, we can't make it up. As I'm saying, I'm going to zip it up. Marco Polo cut me off and the video stopped. Let's pull this card and roll into the throwback. Again, I will put the link there if you want to see it on YouTube. And this string of videos, I will also be creating a video to share over on YouTube. So view as you feel called and however you like. Okay, one last card for us here from the Christmas Tarot to seal in our major to the 7th degree at this point. Number 8. Let's bring in number 8 as a final card here for us today. Temperance. So if we were to string all these numbers together, we have a lot of sequential order because, of course, we know we just got number 11, Justice. We already had 12, the Hanged Man. Tomorrow we have Death, number 13. And now this is 14, Temperance. A beautiful card to go right alongside of Justice because it is about the middle way, finding that path of the violet pill, of moderation, of flow, of bringing things back into equilibrium. So just like those scales of justice and the notion that, as we move through time and we are influenced by innumerable things, but what we've been focusing on here is from an astrological point of view, the influence of Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, just having spent 16 years in the sign of Capricorn. And so that being the particular lens through which that energy of death and rebirth has been streaming onto the planet. Now the scales shift and we move into the sign of Aquarius, which is the sign of the future, of innovation, of technology, of freedom, of humanity and individuality. And again, bringing balance to that in a very neutral way, popular or unpopular, as the Justice card said. So now we have Temperance coming in there with it. And let's see, there's never a shortage of card holders around here. So I'll park the Temperance card, which is beautiful. I'm seeing an angel. And again, I'm seeing sort of like an ancestral energy here with like an elder and this angelic energy of temperance. So we bring in that beautiful balance. Traditionally, Archangel Michael is affiliated with the Temperance card as well. So I'm just going to take a peek here at the energy of temperance to seal in these messages, and then I will roll into sharing the throwback to the chains. Okay, this is bringing in a keyword of dynamics. This is the card of creativity and making something from nothing. It indicates a time of personal growth and understanding of the self and others. Wow. Environments, situations, and actual places can be changed now by considering what you have at your fingertips. You may not even recognize the tools in your toolbox, but they are there. Wow, this is right on point. If there was ever a MacGyver card, that's a major throwback. Who knows that reference? MacGyver card. This one is it. Look for your miracle. Isn't this interesting that this is a completely different format that Justice, oh, I might have missed the little story. Yeah, I missed the story on Justice. That's okay. I think the important messages came through, but now we're reading this story. So it's talking about the angels having always been known as messengers from God, and that they can be found in most religions around the world. Tales and encounters are countless. And the Christmas angels are the most popular in their long history because of their assistance in events before, during, and after the birth of Christ. Wise creatures, they are said to know all except what can be changed by humans applying their will or things that God alone knows. They are peaceful, balanced, and understanding of their places in the universe. This is the goal of the temperance as well. Yeah, so that's really beautiful. I'm just skimming the past, present, and future. So yeah, this is speaking to, through the past, having had to clean up a mess of some kind and, and being accomplished with grace and finesse through your accomplishing of that goal. So with stable thinking and kind advice, you followed your spirit into the battle with strength and love. So it's speaking to, this could have been a personal, inside the self disaster, or something coming at you or yours from the outside. Isn't that interesting? Because I mentioned with the Tower card on Tuesday, Pluto in Aquarius, inner towers and outer towers. I literally talked about that exact thing, and I've never seen that reference before with the Temperance card. These things that you have battled through, that you have been endeavoring to transmute, are perhaps inner battles within you, or things coming from the external. Wow. So that's definitely right on point with everything we've been tapping into. At the present moment, keep your calm. Think things through. Don't fall into traps of those around you who may not see the big picture. Devil energy. Don't fall into traps. It's easy, it's comfortable, it's familiar, it might be popular, right? But we're getting this message. True justice, balance, healing, harmony is not about popular versus not popular, right? So that's all stringing together here. So, keeping your thoughts pure and your mind humming along at moderate speed. You have an angel on your shoulder, and it's the very best sign that you are on the right track. I mean, the breadcrumbs, you guys. Yesterday with the devil, I said it's like the angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other, right? And I love this keeping the thoughts pure and humming along, because so much this month, the channeled words I brought in October about this month is that we are having a transformation of rumination into contemplation. So jumping off of the monkey mind wheel, the hamster wheel of those churning lower vibrational thoughts, to contemplation, which is much more neutral, detached, and observed in its nature of looking at, I just had a thought, a lower vibrational thought, one that made me feel icky, one that was triggering, one that is coming at me to imply that this story that it's telling is true and that I ought to immerse myself in ruminating about this thing and creating a whole spin-off of stories like the roots on that truth, of what this thought is about, ruminating. Or hermit energy coming in hot with this new year is about introspection and really just contemplation, right? Contemplating it. What does this remind me of? Where might this be coming from? Past, present, future, and kind of moving into this new way of dancing with your thoughts, of having this exchange. They serve, they have a purpose, but they're not in charge. And this is where we meet the strength card, taming the beast within, the ego, the lower vibrational primal impulses, fear-based, to the hermit, going within, following your own inner light and introspection in order to glean greater wisdom. Okay, I see this getting glitchy, so I'm afraid I'm going to get kicked out again. Let's just look at the future real quick, and then I'll wrap this up. So in the future, you've solved the problem. Now stop and rest. The situation may not be entirely over, but you've nothing to worry about. You have several possibilities open to you now, and it will be your job to objectively use all you've learned to choose the best method to get what you need. So in the future, temperance has this evaluation process of going, oh, okay, see you, devil. Oh, okay, I see you, angel, on either end of the spectrum. But as for me, I'm choosing the middle path, and I'm stepping into my empowerment, my discernment, my sovereignty. And another buzzword that I didn't mention on the opposite end of that fear-based energy is the courage, is the bravery, is also the frequency of joy that we can really tap into. So much coming up. Thank you for being here. I always love to hear from you if anything is resonating for you, or if you're becoming inspired and getting any intuitive downloads yourself from all of these cards and the breadcrumbs that we can't deny. Where else can we go that we're talking about roots from the tooth? We're talking about the Christmas Carol. We're bringing in Ebenezer Scrooge. So let's get to it. I'm going to roll in now with a couple more thumbnails to share with you, and then the flashback video for your consumption, however you may take it. So thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you all much love and many blessings. All right, so here we have that close-up of the Devil card, our Wednesday midweek blessing this week, that's bringing us into reflecting on those chains in the prisons of our own making. So link by link, right? So this is our segue to, how the heck did I arrive at this throwback? It was being inspired by the very striking imagery of this card. And as we see those two goblins, with the riches and the comforts and all of the temptations and things that they are bound to, that we have this opportunity to really reflect on, the links that create the chains that keep us tethered to old energy of all kinds that's no longer serving. And this goes from the micro to the macro. So this is sort of the visual that I'm bringing in to sort of segue to this flashback, throwback Thursday, to these messages that came through for us in December of 2023 that have reemerged for our contemplation today and our application for tomorrow. So let's take a look. So here is the photo of me from December when I was sharing my chain that I created, which was all of the things that I wanted to leave behind before I stepped into this year, 2024, the year of the Strength card, which was really bringing all of this opportunity for manifestation and abundance. And, what do we want to bring in? What do we want to leave behind? And so as the breadcrumbs will share here in a moment, this quote from Jacob Marley was the, tarot imitating life inspiration with my little one that we watched the Disney Christmas Carol, and these words rang so true. I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. I gartered it of my own free will, and by my own free will, I wore it. So again, an opportunity for us to reflect upon the prisons of our own making, link by link, yard by yard, what creates those chains that have kept us held to something that we are ready to liberate ourselves from. So let's take a look now in the throwback. And again, I will also share here the link to this all of these little polos I'm sharing. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube if you prefer. Here we go.